Social impact of AI. AI is not simply a set of tools that improves efficiency, enhances healthcare, supports learning, or entertains us. While those benefits remain important, they represent only part of a much larger and more complex picture. AI is a complex, unregulated system that shapes decisions, distributes resources, and influences what people know, believe, and trust. It is embedded within economic, political, and social structures. Additionally, it is shaped by powerful institutions driven by large scale data infrastructure and influenced by competing interests. And this matters because AI's impact is not evenly distributed. Some communities benefit from increased access and innovation, while others experience new forms of exclusion, surveillance, or environmental burden. For example, the rapid expansion of AI has led to the need for large data centers. Data centers require significant energy and water resources, but they are also very noisy, 24/7 noisy. These facilities are often located in rural or low income communities, and more studies are needed to investigate the impact of these data centers on the environment and the local communities. In addition to improving their bottom line and pleasing their investors, major tech companies are actively influencing the politics of how AI systems are regulated and who is held accountable. There is no unified federal approach to AI governance, and many states are developing their own policies. This leads to uneven protection for individuals and communities. The bottom line is that AI is not neutral. Let's look at the positive and negative impact of AI. Artificial intelligence is often presented as a solution to complex social problems, particularly in healthcare, education, and economic development. These claims are not without merit. AI is being used to improve efficiency, expand access to service, and support decision making at both individual and population levels. But let's look a little bit more at some areas where we see the influence of AI. AI in daily life, the positive. Our smartphones are mini computers and they are very much AI driven. Our virtual assistants, generative AI, which is where we get our content generated, our images, videos, as well as written words. Health tracking from our smartwatches or other devices, scheduling assistance, and personalized recommendation for shopping, entertainment, and services. But there are also some negative impacts. The systems do more than make recommendations. Personalized recommendations are influenced by algorithms and advertisers, and you definitely can see this in your social media feed. It raises questions about autonomy, choice, and control. It also widens the digital divide between different individuals and communities and their access to tech. Data privacy tracking and surveillance. Who owns your data? Who's tracking your move? and what type of surveillance is happening. And one of the big things that we're also concerned about is AI fraud and deep fakes that is often used by generative AI as well as people who attack different systems. Now, let's look at healthcare and public health, the positive aspects, predictive analytics, as we've talked about throughout the semester, improved diagnoses and health outcomes, disease surveillance in public health, digital tools and devices that can improve healthcare, health promotion, and other areas, telemedicine, especially in rural communities, chatbots to get us information really quickly. However, there are some negative things. AI does not address the underlying social determinants of health. It increased access does not translate to improve quality of care. And that is a big concern. Also, there's increased patient frustration with the high tech interfaces and reduced human customer care. Everything is computerized, or there's an AI assistant that sometimes can be very frustrating if you want to talk to a human. In healthcare, there's also lesser focus on prevention compared to more focus being put on the more complex diseases. We see AI emerging as a dominant tool in education and learning. There's personalized learning, which is good, more tailored feedback to students, flexible learning environment, text to speech, translation in different languages, more accessible content for people who are disabled, and we have more integration of AI in the curricula rather than it just being available in one or two subjects or available to certain majors. However, there are some negative aspects. AI enhanced learning is not evenly distributed in school districts, and the digital divide reinforces some of the existing educational disparities. There's also reduced focus on the benefits of human interaction in learning, whether or not it's from peers or with interaction from teachers. Some are also concerned about decreased critical thinking skills, decreased social interactions as children spend more time on devices and less with interacting with peers. And also, a big concern is the changing roles of teachers and professors as the use of AI increases. Economic and workforce benefits. There are lots of benefits. There are a lot of automation of tasks, especially in manufacturing and service industry, which leads to increased efficiency, cost production. AI also will open new jobs, especially ones that are highly skilled. We see improved customer engagement because business can easily use the algorithm to find out what time to engage, who to engage, and how to target. So you'll have more targeted marketing. You'll see better financial management as AI shows the companies and industries how to cut costs. There are also some very negative things that we're concerned about. The elimination of some professions, and this is changing almost daily. Job loss and employment insecurity is increasing. There's also will be increase in wage gap as the tech sector grows, and some estimate that there will be a shrinking middle class. And as the tech sector grows, there will also be uneven opportunities for developing new tech and digital skills. And as mentioned before, increased customer frustration with many tech based interfaces, whether or not it's ordering at a restaurant where you have to order at a kiosk or on the iPad. And this limits a lot of opportunities for elderly people or people who are not very techy, and also just trying to get customer service care for numerous things. There's also increase of AI surveillance of employee workstations. Let's look at community and cultural impact. AI is not experienced in the same way by all individuals or communities. Its impact is shaped by cultural values, historical experiences, and levels of trust in institutions. Trust is a central issue, especially in vulnerable communities with a history of discrimination, inequity, and mistrust. AI is not seen as a neutral tool and is often met with skepticism about data usage and privacy. Cultural relevance is another important factor. AI systems are developed using data that do not fully reflect individuals from vulnerable communities. This can result in tools that are less accurate, accessible, or meaningful for the population they are intended to serve. Another big issue is the language and the language nuances and communication styles that are not fully captured by AI and even a lot of translation software. AI tools often intersect with broader community concerns about privacy, surveillance, and bias. And as mentioned before, the location of data centers in rural communities and low income neighborhoods further shapes how communities experience the impact of AI on their lives. In summary, AI is not simply a collection of tools. It is embedded within economic, political, and institutional structures that influence who benefits, who is burdened, and whose voices are heard. Engaging with AI requires more than technical knowledge. It includes advocating for equitable access, promoting digital and AI literacy, and ensuring that community voices are included in the development and implementation of AI driven interventions.